Hi everyone, I'm Alexa Palintan with my co-reporters Shari Rosete, Regine Paradero, Koya Ralph, and Ateros Margarianosa. And now we will tackle about the 4-dimension socio-emotional and moral development. So next is what is social, moral, and emotional development. Social and emotional development means how children start to understand who they are, what they are feeling, and what to expect when interacting with others. It is the development of being able to form and sustain positive relationships, experience, manage, and express emotions, and explore and engage with the environment. So now Ate Garianaza will help me to discuss the first dimension of social and moral development. So called Erikson theory of social development. Erikson maintained that personality develops in predetermined order through 8 stages of psychosocial development from infancy to adulthood. And next is the Erikson's 8 stages of social development. First is trust, independence, initiative, accomplishment, identity, relationship, contribution, reflection, summary chart, and last is takeaway. Next, Erikson's stages of social development is a theory introduced in the 1950s by the psychologist and psychoanalyst Erik Erikson. It built upon Freud's theory by drawing parallels in childhood stages while expanding to include the influence to social dynamic as well as the extension of psychosocial development into adulthood. Next is the function. Stages arise as individuals growth and face new decisions and turning points during childhood, adolescence, and adulthood. Each stage is defined by 2 opposing psychological tendencies, one positive, synthetic, and negative, dystonic. Next, Erik Erikson is one name you might notice come up again and again in the parenting magazine you left through. Erikson was a developmental psychologist who specialized in child psychoanalysis and was best known for his theory. So now, Ate Rosemary Galianosa will continue to discuss the 8 stages of Erik Erikson's. Thank you.
So, I'm the continuation of Miss Alexa Polintan, and my part is this stage 1, trust versus mistrust. Trust versus mistrust. Birth to 12 to 18 months old, the first stage of Erikson's theory begins at birth and lasts until your baby approaches their first birthday and a little beyond. So, sa 12 to 18 months old, diriya siya is mag-first birthday ang bata hantod sa iyang pagdako. Sunod-sunod na bay tuig. Stage 2, autonomy versus shame and doubt. 18 months to 3 years old, you know that you've hit this milestone when your toddler start to assert independence. Stage 3, initiative versus guilt. Dre ano nimo makita tong ilahang mga initiative nila, no? So 3 to 5 years old, these are preschool years as your child interacts socially and plays with others. They learn that they can take the initiative and control what happens. Dre ano kay first musulod na sila preschool years, then ga-interact na sila mga uban bata play og uban pa, then makadiri na sila kahibalo silang initiative og unsa na pag-control. Stage 4, industry versus inferiority. 5 to 12 years old, your child has hit elementary school. Here's where they learn new skills. It also where their circle of influence within. So, diri ang nga part sa 5 to 12 years old is magnana siya sa elementary school, then daghan na siya agma tun-an. Next is stage 5, identity versus confusion. 12 to 18 years old, adolescents. So, dito na to sa adolescents na nga to ang mga baby. Here's your chance to revamp the deep breathing skills you developed when your child was toddler. So, next is stage 6, intimacy versus isolation. 18 to 14 years old. 18 to 14 years old is which murag kita naghapon no, mga uban college na, uban senior high school pa. This is where you probably start nodding as you recognize yourself. Remember, we said that each stage builds on the next. People with a strong sense of identity are now ready to share their lives with others. So, diri kanang kini siya is ma-recognize na niya ang iyang self kay dako naman siya, ka 18 to 40 years old naman siya, strong sense of identity, are now ready to share, na pwede na siya i-share sa lain tao. Stage 7, generative versus stagnation. Diri ang part is nana siya sa 40 to 65 years old. This 7th stage is characterized by a need to give to others on home front. Is means raising your child. Next is stage 8, integrity versus despair. Over 65 years old, this is the stage of reflection during late adulthood when you pace of life slow down. People look back on their lives and essence what they've achieved. Sa 65 years old, this is the stage of reflection. Mura na siya during late adulthood na when slow down na imong life. Mura kumbaga tung baby pa ka, nisakay kag stroller, din pagdako na ka, nagyapon ka og nisakay gyapon ka bat wheelchair na. Mura gyapon siya ni slow, murag ni balik ra kapag kabata diri nga. Mura gyapon ka ni balik pagkabata. So, what naday tay table. Mura gyapon ning ganina. Mura niya nga tong table. This is the last part. Giano lang nako, gitable lang nako kay para maklaro gid kay siya tarong. So that's all. Thank you.
Good day everyone. I am Ralph Bernibi Malon and my topic is Bandura Social Cognitive Theory. So, social is relating to society, and cognitive is intellectual activity or defined as the mental action or process of acquiring knowledge and understanding through thought, experience, and the senses. So, social cognitive is learning from society. Unsa atong makita sa palibot, mao na ang atong matun-an. Okay. Bandura agrees with Skinner that people can learn through direct experience, but he places much more emphasis on vicarious learning. People can be reinforced by observing others' reward. So, vicarious learning is way of learning that allows individuals to learn from the experience of others, or it is a learning through observing the experiences of others without performing the learned behavior directly. Example is, babies learn to wave goodbye or blow a kiss by mimicking in their parents. Di ba kita taan ng mga bata nga dali ra kayo tudluan kanang mag unsay tawag goodbye kiss nga na dali ra kayo makasundog ang bata pinaagi sa pagsundog sa ilahang ginikanan. Toddlers learn language from hearing conversations. So this learning experience is called vicarious learning. Pareha ning mga bata kanang ug kintahay sa inyong balay kusog kayo mo malikas magsulti og mga bad words, di ba? Dali ra kay na sila makasundog, di ba? Ilan ang balik-balikon og unsa ni? Ilan ang balik-balikon og sulti. So si unsay tawagan ni si Albert Bandura nagbuhat siya og experiment kaning bubudal experiment. Adults were recorded being aggressive to bubudals. Children were shown the video and then allowed to play in a room full of toys. Children were aggressive to the bubudal just as the adults were in the video. So, what is bubudal experiment? Kibali, mo ni ang gihibuhat nga experiment ni Albert Bandura nga makita nila sa video nga ug unsay ginabuhat sa ginikanan or sa mga adults mao po'y ginasundog sa bata, no? Klaro kay diri sa video nga or sa mga pictures nga unsay gibuhat sa bata. Kung unsay ginabuhat sa adult mo'y ginasundog sa mga bata. Bandura observe nga ang learning mahitabo pinaagi jud sa pag-observe og pagsundog. So, through this research, Bandura observed that components of learning occur through observation and modeling behaviors. This concept lead to the theoretical framework of the social cognitive learning theory. Okay. Assumptions of social cognitive theory. Unsa man ni ang assumption? So, assumption means to assume. The theory assumes that changes in the environment will automatically lead to changes in the person, when this may not always be true. So, learning occurs by observing others and modeling. Internal processes and cognition of observed behavior may or may not lead to learned behavior. Learning performance distinction. So nagdepende sa ato ang na-observe ang atong natun-an dili ma-apply. So difference between the learning behavior and actual performance of the behavior. Okay, next is behavior is goal-directed. Goals are set and behavior is directed to accomplishing the goal. Motivation driven, kibali planado siya, kibali ma-planuhan ang behavior. So, behavior is eventually self-regulated, kibali makontrol ra gyud na sa kaugalingon ang behavior, kibali ikaw mismo ang magkontrol sa imuhang behavior. Punishment and reinforcement have indirect effects on the learning processes. So, dili dayon kita ang iyahang result. So, reciprocal causation model environment learning behavior person. Okay. Environmental factors, social models, instruction, feedback. So, social models. Unsa ni mga social models mo ni ang atong makita sa palibot. So, depende diri kung negative or positive ang matun-an sa bata, depende sa iyang environment. Kibali og unsa ang makita sa bata og maayo ang iyang ang environment sa iyang palibot, maayo pud na ang iyang matun-an. Pero kung negative, sigurado negative gyud pod. So, personal factors, cognitive goals, sense of efficacy, attributions. So, it includes personality, childhood experience, knowledge, and education. Goals, political, and world views. Okay, next is behaviors. Process of self-regulation, goal, progress, motivations, learning. Okay, behaviors is how someone acts. So, mo ni ang imuhang batasan kung unsa ka. Okay, there are two types of learning. Number one is inactive learning. So, unsa man ni ang inactive learning? Ang inactive learning is learning by doing and is reinforced by consequences of actions or outcomes. So, it is the idea that we learn more when we actually do the activity. For example, sa ato ang pag-eskwela, di ba? Natay mga activities nga ginapabuhat sa atoa para makabalo jud ta kung unsaon. Kanang kita gid mismo ang magbuhat ba, dinha ta makatuon. Kanang mo ni ang ilang gitawag og learning by doing. Okay. Next is vicarious learning. Learning through observation, not performance. Mo nitong atong na hisgutan gaina, di ba? Ang vicarious learning is the process of learning by watching the behaviors of others. Kibali, ug unsa imong naobserbahan, kibali imo pong sundog. Ug unsa imong makita, imong gisundog. Mo ni siya ang vicarious learning. Okay. The learning process requires kinahanglan na agyud ni siya. Number one is attention. Attention, learning by learning, attentive, anything that distracts the attention will be going to have a negative effect on learning. If the situation is far likely to the interest, the more the learner dedicate his full attention to learn. So, depende na siya sa unsay tawag ni ang learning, depende sa iyang attention or giun sa niya pagpaminaw or pag-observe. So, kung unsay tawag ani, kung naminaw siya og maayo or nag-observe siya og maayo, so mas dali or positive ang epekto sa iyahang learning. Pero kung wala siya naminaw or wala pud siya nag-observe og tarong, so negative ang effect sa iyahang learning. Okay, next is retention. Retention is the ability to store information, is also important part of the learning process. This can be affected by a number of factors, but the ability to pull up information later and act on its vital observation. So kaning retention ani is, ang ibig sabihin ani is kaning stored knowledge. Kibali nana daan sa iyaaha. Naka-store ni siya. Okay, and next is reproduction. Once person pays attention and able to retain the information, it is time to actually perform the behavior you observe. Further practice of the learned behavior leads to improvement and skills advancement. Okay, kaning reproduction pod is performing. Kibali, giunsa na nimo pag-perform ang imuhang behavior nga kibali nga imuhang na-observe or imuhang na kita. So, reproduction is performing. Performing the behavior you observe. Okay. Next is motivation. In order to be successful, you have to be motivated to learn, being aware of its outcome. Reinforcement and punishment play an important role in motivation. So, kani motivation is to motivate or motivated ka, inspired og naa kay goal. Kibali og naa kay goal, di ba? Mulahi pod ang imuhang behavior ana kibali ang imuhang behavior is kibali di ba ang behavior ma-control man nimo sa imuhang self kibali ug motivated ka or inspired ka maotro na halimbawa aning pareha aning example ha kaning mga politicians di ba ang mga politicians kung panahon sa padulong sa unsay tawag ani padulong sa panahon sa pangampanya or padulong sa election di ba grabe nila kabuutan halos tanan ngisihan halos tanan kaila halos tanan ilang kanang babayan kibali ilang pagkumustahon so ingana ang ilahang behavior kay naa sila'y goal kibali unsay tawag ani ilan ang giset kibali ba so motivated sila nga inganaon nila ang ilahang batasan kay naa sila'y goal. Okay. Models can be real people. Examples aning mga models are teachers, coaches, etc. or mga leaders. 'Di ba ang mga models mo ni sila ang ginasundog or ginatuohan sa mga bata. Example kaning mga teachers, di ba? Kaning mga bata halos ug sa kuan pa mas mutuo pa ang bata sa mga teachers kaysa sa ilahang ginikanan. Kay moyon gay na nga dili mali man ka pa kay ingon ni teacher kay ingana daw. So mo na mga example sa models labi na sa mga bata kay mao na gyud ang ilahang ginatuohan sila teachers. Okay, next is models can also come from media, books, TV magazines. So, examples ani is kay artista, superhero og uban pa nga ginahimo nga modelo sa mga bata. Di ba kanang unsay makita sa mga bata, mayon sila nga magingani ko kay katong ako ang idol nga superhero kay ingani ang iyang ginabuhat. Buotan kay siya, mutabang siya sa iyang kuan tapos na siya power ingana mahatag sa iha kay unsay tawag ani kanang nagbinuotan siya. So mo'y sundog sa mga bata. Mo na siya ang example sa models gihapon nga makita sa media, books or mga TV or magazines. Okay, models can be influence behavior positively or negatively. Yes. Dapat careful yun ta kay, di ba, naikasabihan nga kung ano ang ginagawa ng matatanda ay nagiging tama sa mata ng mga bata. So, sa mga bata nga gagmay, careful ta sa ilahang ginapangtanaw kay dali ra kaayo na sila makabaluog, makasundog. So, di ba? Mo gito katong ingon ako gaina nga og unsa ilang makita kintahay magsige mo unsay tawag gani kang pamalikas or magkuan mo sulti mo mga bad words mo na ginasundog sa mga bata mo na nga dali ra kay kuan ang mga bata makasundog so careful gyud ta no kay kita man gyud ang ilang model. So characteristic mo ni ang mga characteristics of models sa mga model both real and symbolic dapat na agid sila have prestige and power. So dapat respetado or gina-admire gid sila sa daghay nag-admire sa ilang mga bata anak kasagaran or sa mga adult pod nga uban kay di na man makita kay ikaw man kibali ang model kibali ikaw gyud ang unsay tawag ani kanang ikaw gyud ang modelo gyud ba so dapat respetado ka or daghan ga admire sa imuha. Models are competent, have the ability, knowledge, and skill. Dapat na agid po kay ingani kay di man po ka mahimong model og wala po kay ingani. Dapat na agid ka ani biskan halos dapat na agid ning ability, knowledge, and skill kay para mahimo po ka nga model. So, perform task well that others would like to be able to do. So, dinhi na siguro tama, no? And thank you everyone for listening.
Good day. I am Shari Jia Birusiti and I will be the reporter for Lawrence Kuhelberg Cognitive Theory of Moral Development. So when we talk about moral development, it focuses kung paano tayo mag-reason out. Paano ka nag-iisip pagdating sa moralidad. Pagdating sa mga bagay na pinagdidesisyonan whether it's right or wrong, ang isang bagay or ang isang action. So, paano nagproproseso ang isip mo? So, meaning, this is not entirely applicable to those people with cognitive disabilities. Yung mayroong psychological challenges because it's all about the process of a person's mind who has the normal cognitive development, yung mga taong walang sakit sa pag-iisip. Who is Lawrence Kuhelberg? So, Lawrence Kuhelberg was an American professor of education and social psychology at Harvard University. He began as a developmental psychologist, then moved to field of education later on, influenced by the Swiss psychologist Jean Piaget, famous for his theory of moral development of children. So he became interested in studying the development of moral reasoning and he based his theory on findings of Piaget in studying cognitive moral development, our ability to understand and reason out logically. So next, as we can see according to Kuhelberg, there are 6 stages of moral development and it's divided into 3 levels wherein the stages belong. So let's proceed to the next slide para mas maklaro. So first, we have the level 1, the pre-conventional level. Moral reasoning is based on the result or consequences of the act, not on whether the act itself is good or bad. It means kung paano ka magdesisyon kung ano ang tama o mali. Like, it doesn't matter kung ano ang tama o mali sa'yo. Parang, paano ka naka-arrive sa desisyon na yan? Paano ka napunta sa desisyon na yan na ay, ito ang tama at ito yung mali. So, that's the pre-conventional level. So, continue. The stage 1. Stage 1 is belong to pre-conventional level, just like the stage 2. So, stage 1. The punishment or obedience. One is motivated by fear of punishment. So, meaning, the individual will obey or rather the individual will think this is right or something this is wrong depending on the punishment. So, itong stage 1 into psychology, para itong negative reinforcement. Ito yung tama because dili ko makasukan, dili ko mapanisyan. And the individual will think that it is wrong because of the punishment if he or she do that. Next, let's proceed to stage 2, the mutual benefit. One is motivated to act by the benefit that one may obtain later. So, dito sa stage 2 naman, instead of punishment, the individual will look forward because of the benefits it can give later or the reward can obtain later on. So, for example, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. So, there are benefits in both sides, right? They can satisfy each needs and can gain mutual benefits. So, that's the stage 2 means. So next level, we have the conventional. A moral reasoning is based on the conventions or norms of the society. includes the approval of others, the law and order. So, in level 2 naman, the person moves outside from himself or herself. Tapos, both important to him or her is mga social rules conforming in the society. Meron pa rin siyang self-interest pero it's motivated kung ano ang magiging image niya sa society. Ano yung magiging effect noon sa society. So next, the conventional level also have two stages. The stage 3 and 4. So let's tackle first the stage 3. Social approval. The one is motivated by what others expect in behavior. So means you do that thing because that what other want you to do. Because that what others sees it right. A good boy or a good girl. The person values what will she or he appears to others. So they gives importance on what people will think or say. Kinibuhaton ko ni kay para walay masulti ang chismosang silingan. Kini kay mo tabang kos amo ang community service kay kini ang tama ug maayo kay gipatabang ko. So that's what means in social approval. So next we have the stage 4, the law and order. Remember that we are still in level 2, the conventional level. So proceed. Law and order. One is motivated to act in order to uphold law and order. The person will follow the law because it is the law. Period. Masabton raman siguro ang law and order, no? Murag dali raman siya sabton. But to more elaborate, here in stage 4, ang isip mo when you do something tapos sobrang higpit ng authority for you. So, social rules, laws determine behavior of the individual to take consideration into the larger perspective of the societal laws. So, parang lagi mong nire-respect yung authority ng batas. Alam niyo yung klaseng reasoning na sundon na lang nato ni because they didn't give that such law if dili na maayo sa atoa. You always follow the law, the rules rather, because the rule is something that provides order in the society. Next, we have the post-conventional level, the last level of moral development. So, post-conventional level is a moral reasoning is based on enduring or consistent principles. So, on this level, the morality defined in terms of abstract principles and values that apply to all situations and societies. The individual attempts to take the perspective of all the others individual. Next, the stage 5, social contract. Laws that are wrong can be changed. So, one will act based on social justice and the common good. So, dito sa stage 5, you now follow the exemption to the rule. Like, okay lang sa'yo na mabali ang rule for the sake of a certain principle. So, to more elaborate, no? Diba ang rules ginawa for justice, for harmony, pero kapag yung rule or yung law ay parang nakaka-offend na ng ibang tao, parang sa tingin mo, okay lang na mabend yung rules for the sake of principle that you want to follow. So that's what the stage 5 means. So next and the last stage is the stage 6, universal principle. One is associated with the development of one's conscience. So having a set of standards that drives one to possess moral responsibility to make societal changes, regardless of the consequences to oneself. So here in the last stage, it is someone who think the betterment of all. Yung parang kaya na nilang i-sacrifice ang life nila for a greater purpose. So gamay ra jud ang maka-achieve aning stage 6 of moral development ni Kuhelberg, no? Kay kadalasan sa ato adi man kaya magpakamatay for the sake of others. Even gani sa ero tinukluray pagani or worse himuon og pangsagang ang kauban para dili lang mapaakan. So continue. 'Di ba? 'Di ba, we human beings, we all have self-interest. Gamay ra jud ang may mga universal principles like Mother Teresa, Martin Luther King Jr. So itong mga taong ito, they are guided by an absolute moral principle. Kahit na nasa-sacrifice na yung buhay nila, no? But their greatest purpose for the world or country is extraordinary. And according to Kuhelberg, gamay ra jud ang mga tao nga naing ani na moral principle. So, I guess that's the end to my report. To proceed to the other reporter. So, hi everyone, I am Regine de la Peña and I will be the reporter for the Carol Gilligan's theory of moral development. So, who is Carol Gilligan? Carol Gilligan was born on November 28, 1936 in New York City. A social psychology from Harvard University in 1964. Began teaching at Harvard in 1967 and she became research assistant of Lawrence Kohlberg. So next, we have Gilligan's stages of the ethics and care. The stages up to its goal. The pre-conventional goal is individual survival. Transition is from selfishness to responsibility to others. Conventional to self-sacrifice is goodness. Transition is from goodness to truth that she is person too. Post-conventional to principle of non-violence. Do not hurt others or self. So we have also Gilligan stages of the ethics of care, levels and characteristics. The level 1, orientation to individual survival. Individual to survive. So first transition is selfishness to responsibility, connection and responsibility to the others. The level 2, goodness as self-sacrifice, reliance on others, social acceptance. Second transition, goodness to truth, questioning comparative value of self versus others. The level 3 of Gilligan stages of the ethics of care are morality of nonviolence, heightened understanding of choice between own needs and care for the others, do not harm others or self. So that will be all. Thank you.